Hello, welcome. I'm Jenna, this is the Stampers Mess, and I'm live today to talk to you about the new colours. So with the new annual catalogue coming in May, we have a colour refresh, which means colours going, colours coming in, and new colours coming back, lots of changes. So I've shared bits and pieces of that in different places, in my newsletters and on Facebook, and I just wanted to go through and tell you the whole lot, what all the new colour families are, and what's new and what's old, and all of that kind of thing. And also I wanted to give you some ideas of some colour combinations that you can use with the brand new colours. So there's some comparisons and some combinations and a bit of playing around with the colour swatches. So it's mostly going to be on my desk today, and I'm just going to show you all of those samples. So hi Judith, thanks for joining me. Lovely to see you here. And I'm going to take you down to my desk now, and I am going to show you the new in colours to start with. Oop, have my mouse in shot. So these are the new in colours. In fact, I've got these little swatches here to show you on a big scale, but I think I'm going to actually bring in my big pieces so that I can show you in a little more detail. So these are the new in colours. So this is Copper Clay, Wild Wheat, not my favourite colour I have to say, Boho Blue, which I love, Moody Mauve, I also love, and Pebbled Path. So these are the new in colours. So I'm going to take you through and I'm going to show you the family. So the in colours, they come every 2 years. So we get a new set of in colours each year, and they last for 2 years. So these are our 2023-2025 colours. So we'll have these for the next 2 years. And so we've lost a set of in colours, and then we have our 2022-2024 set that are staying around. So I'm going to show you how that works with our colour families. So these are those colour swatches that I had. So those are the new in colours. I'll just move them down so where you can see them. And then these ones here are the carrying over in colours. So these are our sets of in colours that we will have to play with. So you can see here, this one's kind of those earthy tones, and then this one here is the bright and bold ones. And they do tend to do that with the in colours, is that they swap and change between kind of bright and more muted tones. So we've got our brights and we've got our earthy muted tones, and they're going to be a great addition to all of our new colour families. So now I'm going to show you our actual new colour families, because some things have changed. Things have moved around and changed. So this is Real Red, so this is the Regals collection. Real Red, Cherry Cobbler, Cajun Craze, Crushed Curry. Wait, what's the best way to do this so I can get them all in? Old Olive, Garden Green, Shaded Spruce. Now, Pretty Peacock is one of those returning colours, as is Blueberry Bushel, and then Gorgeous Grape. So these are our new Regals collection. Which is nice, strong colours, but not bright ones. So Regals is kind of, that's how I think of it, strong but not particularly bright ones. So a little bit more muted than the brights. So these ones are the brights. So this is Poppy Parade, Melon Mumbo, Fleur de Flamingo. Now Pumpkin Pie has come back from the Regals. It was in the brights, it went to the Regals, it's now back in the brights again. Daffodil Delight. Lemon Lime Twist is a returning in colour that we have coming back. Granny Apple Green, Coastal Cabana, and then this is a brand new colour. The blue is Azure Afternoon, and then another returning in colour, Berry Burst. So that is our brights collection, and you can see why that's called that. They're all nice bright colours. So just as an example, that Poppy Parade is the red that's in our brights. And, oh, I picked up the wrong one. And the Real Red is the red that's now in our Regals. So you can see why one is brights and one is Regals. So it's just a different colourway that we're working with instead. So the next one up is our Subtles collection. So this is the one with the most changes in it. So this Subtles collection is now Petal Pink, Calypso Coral, Lemon Lolly is one of our brand new colours, Soft Sea Foam, Pool Party, Lost Lagoon has come back. It's a a returning in colour, Balmy Blue, Highland Heather. Now, Fresh Freesia was one of our 2021-2023 in colours that is now going to be a core colour. So it is now a subtle colour. And then another brand new colour is the Bubble Bath. I'm just trying to put it in a way that you can get a good sense of what the colours are. So this is our new subtles range. And what I really love about this is Lost Lagoon. So Lost Lagoon on its own, you wouldn't necessarily say, oh, that's definitely a subtles colour. But when you put it with the group, what it actually does is it works as a neutral for the group. So you can have all of these ones here working in harmony with each other. And then you can use this one to add your outlines or your greetings or anything you want to have a little bit more separation, whereas you might use a black or a brown. You can actually use Lost Lagoon for that function, which I think is fantastic. So that's our subtles collection. And then the one I've got left is our neutrals collection. So again, I like what they've done with the neutrals. This is the last colour refresh, is they've added a few colours to the neutrals. So we've got Mossy Meadow, Misty Moonlight, which is a returning colour, Night of Navy, and Blackberry Bliss, which has come out of Regals. So these colours that we have here in our neutrals collection work in that way that I was saying before that the Lost Lagoon can with the subtles. So with any colour range now, you can add these in the same way that you would use a black or brown or a neutral in that way, is that you can use it as the background basis, but you can also use it for stamping. You can stamp a greeting, you can do an outline in any of those colours, and it will work in that kind of neutrals setting. So then we have Early Espresso, Pecan Pie is a brand new colour, Crumb Cake, Grey Granite, Smoky Slate, and Basic Grey. So this is our neutrals collection. So at one point it was all the neutrals, as in all the browns, greys, and those kinds of things. It was black in there. And it was pretty much hard to use without introducing colours from another collection. Whereas this one now has those pops of colour as well, and you have all these different options available to you. So that's all of our neutrals collection. These little swatches, by the way, that I printed up and I cut out, I punch holes in these and I create little swatch books that I sell. So if you're after one of those, do get in touch. I sell them the full set for $10. So now what I wanted to do is show you some comparisons of those with those new colours. So I'm going to work with copper clay, and I want to show you some comparisons with some of our other colours. So you might be wondering, we've got these two new colours. So copper clay is an in colour and pecan pie is a new core colour in the neutrals. So how similar they are and how different they are. So they are different colours, and this one is a lot redder. And that's why I also brought in Cajun Craze to have a look at when you were having a look at what copper clay is like. So that's the comparison, direct cardstock on cardstock, that you can see to get a better idea, because you maybe have the Cajun Craze cardstock, and so it gives you a good sense of how that compares. Now, wild wheat, again, I said not my favourite colour, and I have already developed the habit of calling it nasty nappy with the Stampin' Up alliteration, and I probably shouldn't, but wild wheat. So this is the colour, and so what I'm comparing this one with is the pecan pie, which is our new brown, because that would be the closest in colour in our core collections. The closest colour tones is this one here, which is pecan pie. And then I put the crumb cake there, which is the one that you would probably know, and just to give you that sense of how it goes with that. So there isn't a colour comparable to wild wheat, so these are the two closest current colours, just to give you an idea of how they look with each other. The crushed curry, I haven't put in there, but I'll just pull it out of the other set, is very different. So you may have thought that crushed curry was kind of in the same tones. It's much, much brighter. So there's that one there. So then I've got my colour comparisons for boho blue. So this is my boho blue, and comparing it to some of our other blues, we have here balmy blue. So it's quite different to the balmy blue. I have misty moonlight, which is coming back. Again, it's quite different. It's similar in tones and will work quite nicely with the misty moonlight, but you can see the depth of colour is really, really different. And then the other blue that I wanted to show you with our other new blue is Azure Afternoon. So that's the blues in comparison to each other. Then I have Moody Mauve. So my Moody Mauve comparisons. So this is Moody Mauve, and the colours we have Fresh Freesia. So this is, people have asked me about whether this is similar to Rococo Rose, which is an in colour that we've had in the past, and it's actually more purple than pink. So Rose was a pinker colour, and this time around it's more purple. So this is Flirty Flamingo, which has those pink tones in it, and it's very, very different to the Moody Mauve. And that's Fresh Freesia, and then I've added a couple of others in here to look at those pinks and blues tones. So this is a purpley shade in pink, so that's the Berry Burst, and then on this one I have Gorgeous Grape. So that's kind of our purples range that you can see. It's something, it's filling a spot that we didn't have. It's really quite different to all of those. And then I had a couple of other colours in here. So Orchid Oasis is one of our in colours. It's a purpley one. It's a bluey purple, and this is a reddy purple. So quite different in tone, and they don't actually work together. So I pulled out one of my other colour swatches with colours that are going. So this is Rich Razzleberry, which is one of our retiring colours, and it was just to give you that comparison. And it's actually a bit of a shame because I think they work really nicely together. It's a bit of a shame we won't have them both. But if you've got Rich Razzleberry or you want it, then you can, it hasn't retired just yet. I'm not sure if there's any stock left. And then this one is Merry Merlot, which is another one that is retiring, and that just gives you the sense of how it compares to those two colours, and it would have worked really nicely with both of those. But I'm looking forward to playing with Moody Mauve. It's one of my favourites of all the new colours that we have. So the last one of the in colours I want to show you is Pebbled Path. So this is Pebbled Path. It's kind of a grey tone. It's a little bit hard to determine what it is. It's kind of not a grey, not a brown, somewhere in between. It's because this is it with our grey granite, which will work really nicely. So we'll have a granite and pebble path. And this is our basic grey, which is much greyer. You can see there the pebble path looks more brown tones when you put it next to that true grey of basic grey. So it's a little bit hard to categorise because it's not anything like Early Espresso, which is a much browner colour. And then I've also put in here Sahara Sand, which is one of our retiring colours. It's come from one of my old swatches, and that's just to give you a comparison with those kind of neutrals that are there. So a different colour, and that's good. We have all of these colours have kind of a different range, which is great. So now I'm going to look at our brand new colours. So the brand new colours are these four here. So these aren't in colours, they're additions to our core colour groups. So we've got Pecan Pie, Lemon Lolly, Bubble Bath and Azure Afternoon. So they're not meant to be a set in any way. They're slotting into our collections into gaps that we have either created by moving colours out, like we don't have say saffron anymore, so we need a pale yellow, or are just filling a gap that we might have had already. Like we've been asking for a baby pink for a long time, a pink as opposed to a yellowy pink, which is what petal pink is. So this time I have my Azure Afternoon comparisons. So again, I've got the blues. So I'm showing you that this is the Tahitian Tide, which is a bright blue from the in colours, and you can see the difference in those. So this has much greener tones in it. And then this is Balmy Blue, which is our subtle blue. You can see the difference. Blueberry Bushel is one of those returning colours, and you can see that's quite different, but I can already see that those are going to work really nicely together. And then we're going to have Boho Blue, which is one of the new in colours, so that's another blue that we'll have available to us. Looking at those ones, and then this is the Pacific Point. So this is one of the ones that I think Blueberry Bushel is filling the space left by Pacific Point, so we're going from one to the other, having a darker one, and then this gives us a lighter version. So in some ways, it's kind of, we've got these two colours instead of this one, which I think is great to have those different shades. The next comparison is Bubble Bath. And so with Bubble Bath, it's that true baby pink. I'm trying to hold it in where the light doesn't glare too much so you don't get to see the actual true colour. And so it goes along with our Fresh Freesia. And this is what I was saying about the yellow pink that is petal pink. So putting them down is a little bit easier for you to see. So we've got those there. So that's a yellower pink, that's a baby pink, and that's a purpley colour. So then a couple of the other pinks we have is Flirty Flamingo, which is our bright pink, And then this is Blushing Bride that is being retired. So if you're wondering how close Bubble Bath is to Blushing Bride, they're quite different. And so Blushing Bride and Petal Pink were the pinks that we had in our subtles before, but both of them had those kind of yellowy tones. Petal Pink more so, but Blushing Bride still had that in it, whereas Bubble Bath does not. So it's a much colder pink, if you like. Then on to Lemon Lolly. So Lemon Lolly is our new yellow. So that's it there. And its comparisons are our bright yellow, which is Daffodil Delight, and our new Lemon Lime Twist, which is that lime kind of cross between green and yellow. And so you get the sense there that Lemon Lolly is much, much paler than the other ones. So I thought you might want to see how Lemon Lolly compares to the colours that are leaving, which is Pale Papaya and So Saffron are colours that are retiring at the end of this month, and that's how Lemon Lolly compares to those. So again, it's a much paler, it's a baby yellow, so that's great. We've got a colour that we haven't had in quite some time. So one more new colour to show you, and that's Pecan Pie. And this will be a little bit similar to my Copper Clay comparisons because they are in the same kind of range. So that is the Copper Clay with the Pecan Pie, and there with the Crumb Cake is there. So you can see how they work together, and then Cajun Craze as well. So very similar in comparison to my Copper Clay ones, just so you can see how they look together. All right, so that's my comparisons done. Now I'm going to move on to some colour combinations. So some ideas for you to play around with colour combinations. So this one is Copper Clay. So this is my first range of colours to work with Copper Clay. So this is Copper Clay, Pool Party, Early Espresso and Lost Lagoon. And with any of these, it's how much of each one that you use makes a very big difference to how they work together. So the more of one kind and the less of another changes how the whole combination works. So you do need to think of them in various amounts. You don't have on any card, you don't have anything that's in equal amounts. Oh, hi Sonia, thank you for your comment. I'm glad you're enjoying my combinations and things. I hope you enjoy seeing the rest of them as well. So this one here, you just need to think about how you separate how much of each colour you use will change very much how it is. But colour is such an important part of card making. It's an important part of the aesthetic of it. It's an important part of the pattern papers. If you don't like the colours that are used, you're not going to like the project. And if you love the colours, you're going to like a project more, even if it's not your style of project. So colours are such an important thing. So I'm going to put these ones down because I'm going to have 3 samples of Copper Clay combinations that are quite different. So this one here kind of makes me think a little bit of Harry Potter. I'm not entirely sure why that Harry Potter comes to mind with those, but it's a much bolder colour selection than this one here. So you can see here there's another set of colours that you can use that work really nicely together. And then this one here for Copper Clay is kind of my little boy go-to. It will be a nice little combination to do cards for little boys. And again, you can play around with how much of each colour that you have and play around maybe having a little less of that one and a little more of that one. You can see those colour changes vary quite a bit. So I hope that gives you an idea of working with Copper Clay. I'm going to move on to Wild Wheat. So this is one I did struggle with, and I'm going to show you what I ended up coming up with. So here I have Wild Wheat, Early Espresso, Cajun Craze and Crushed Curry. So this one here, I think with Wild Wheat, the key to it is using it in a small amount. So I think I'd be quite happy with it if I have just a little sliver of it in amongst complementary colours. So perhaps this one. So more of the browns and less of the kind of yellowy tones. But it's up to you what you like and what your preferences are. So I'll just spread those out so you can see what those colours were. And then this is a nice masculine set using Wild Wheat. So I've gone with Garden Green, Early Espresso and Wild Wheat. And I think that one is a good combination because they work with the same tones, and so the Wild Wheat doesn't look out of place with any of those. And then my third combination is this one here where I have wild wheat, copper clay, and crumb cake. So again, it's those earthy tones, and that gives you a different look. I might put this one under there so that you can actually see the crumb cake is there. So that's my wild wheat comparisons. Okay, next one up is my boho blue. So they've had a bit of fun with this one. I might even have an extra combination. So boho blue, here I've gone with the blues. So shades of blues: Misty Moonlight, Lost Lagoon, which is a kind of bluey green, Night of Navy, and boho blue. And I think that works really nicely as a kind of monochrome look if you were going for lots of blues. But you can also go quite feminine with boho blue. So I've got here Highland Heather, Misty Moonlight, boho blue, and Fresh Freesia. And that gives you a really different spin on the blue, because adding in those purples that it works really nicely with gives it a much more feminine look. Then I have this one here, which is a bit of a departure again, boho blue with Lemon Lolly and Night of Navy. And that works particularly for like young people, little kids and that kind of thing. And I've actually got a fourth one for boho blue because I was playing around and I liked it so much. So this one is boho blue with soft sea foam, melon mumbo, and Fresh Freesia. So it's a brighter, much brighter version of this one here. So this is kind of feminine but subtle, and this is a bright one because we've added in that melon mumbo, and then the soft sea foam brings a pop as well. But I just want to show you with this how this combination compares using boho blue and using balmy blue. So you can see there, it kind of, the balmy blue washes it out a little bit, and there isn't enough definition between Fresh Freesia and balmy blue. But when you go boho blue, there's that real contrast between all of them. And so you get a great selection there. So there's the ideas for boho blue. So Moody Mauve. Now I'm going to actually change the camera slightly for a moment because I wanted to show you a color combination with Moody Mauve that isn't in my cardstock. It's on me. So I don't know how well you can see, but I have a top that has Moody Mauve. So if I just grab a Moody Mauve swatch, then you can see it's a very similar color. So this top is actually white, Moody Mauve, and black, as you can see on my arm. So black, Moody Mauve, and white. So that's a great combination. Just thought I'd share that because I thought of that as I was getting dressed this morning. So I'm just going to take you back to my table now, and I'm going to show you some Moody Mauve combinations. So this is the first one, and I have Moody Mauve with Bubble Bath and Basic Grey. So you could do Pebble Path as well, but I quite like it with the Basic Grey. And so this is kind of similar to the top that I'm wearing, but this is the white and this is the black. So it's just messing with those shades a little bit. Then I've got my next combination, which is Blackberry Bliss with Moody Mauve. And then I'm adding in some Pool Party and some Very Vanilla. And you can see how that works with those ones as well. Then I've got my third Moody Mauve, which is with Pretty Peacock, so that you can see that they're very different colours but kind of in the same tonal range. And then we have Lost Lagoon and Soft Sea Foam. So a nice little combination, so you can have them in different ways. I've just seen, oh Kath, sorry, your favourite new colour, I'm hoping you're talking about Moody Mauve because that's mine. I couldn't see when that comment came in. But yes, Moody Mauve is a beautiful, beautiful colour and I love it. So now I've got some Pebbled Path combinations for you. So Pebbled Path is that kind of neutral colour, so it depends on what colours you want to introduce. So with this one, I've actually gone with a set of the in colours together. I think these are a fantastic combination. So it's Moody Mauve and Boho Blue, and that makes a nice little grouping. Those are all from the in colour group. Then my next combination is quite a different one. So I'm using some Cherry Cobbler with Very Vanilla, a Pebbled Path, and Grey Granite. So you can see in there that it gives a completely different look to the Pebbled Path. So you kind of have that kind of purpley grey tones in there, and then you make it pop with something a little different. And then my last Pebble Park sample is a bold one. So I've teamed it with Lemon Lime Twist and Lost Lagoon. So these colours work really nicely together. And this I found is the best neutral to go with that combination because of that tonal connection. So there we go, 3 different combinations for using Pebble Path. So then I have some samples as well, some combinations for the brand new colours that have been added to the collection. So Azure Afternoon is the brand new colour. So I've teamed this one with Pecan Pie, Night of Navy, Grey Granite and Lost Lagoon. And this is one of those ones I needed to show you. Sometimes when you put colours together, they look like they don't go at all. So those 2 colours really look like they don't go in any way. So you kind of question why I've done that. But if you put something in between them, then suddenly they go better than they did before. And if you put something else in between and they're further apart from each other and you have something else that works with it, or you play around with the order of colours, so you have colours that pop and they don't all have to be precise match for each other. So I just wanted to show how different variations and different orders of colour make a big difference. So I've got another combination here, and we've got Boho Blue, Very Vanilla, Azure Afternoon and Night of Navy. So it's similar there, but we haven't got those different colours. So it's kind of shades of blue with some vanilla, which I really like that combination. And then we go for the brights, because it is a bright blue, it's a bright colour, so let's have a bright combination. And I meant bright. So I've got Pumpkin Pie, Daffodil Delight and Lemon Lime Twist. And that is another one. This was a bright colour combination that I used for my little boys when they were little boys quite a bit, because it's a really nice pop of colour. And again, you can play around with the order of the colours so that if you have colours that blend in too much and you separate them a little bit, you will see them much more that way. So that is my Azure Afternoon collection. Oh, Kath, Boho Blue and Moody Mauve are the other way around for me. My 2 favourites, but they go the other way. So Bubble Bath is the next one. So I have here the purples. So I have Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather, Fresh Freesia and that new Bubble Bath. And so that's that monochrome purples range that ends in that light pink colour. So in this selection, in all of these ones, Bubble Bath can actually act like a neutral in terms of a white or a vanilla. It is so pale, you could use it in place of either of those, and that would work for you. So I've done it again here with Bubble Bath and white, but you could have done it with just one or just the other. So it was just that combination. So it's white with Boho Blue, Bubble Bath and then Moody Mauve. And again, a combination that really speaks to me. I would definitely wear those colours. And then the last one here is using it as that neutral. So it's with a bright combination, and then Bubble Bath works in the same way that it would if I had used the white, for example, this combination. But then this is much starker. So if you wanted to not be as stark, you can use Bubble Bath in that selection. So some kind of monochrome ones, a subtle one, and then a bright pop. Great one for little girls, this one. So 2 more to go. I hope you can bear with me. I've got Lemon Lolly next. So Lemon Lolly is our brand new pale yellow. So I have this one with Calypso Coral, Petal Pink, and then Lemon Lolly. Yeah, a really nice soft combination. And then I've got a more masculine set with Lemon Lolly. So I've got Blueberry Bushel, Coastal Cabana, Lemon Lolly, and then Soft Sea Foam. So it could be either, but it works for a masculine set as well, particularly if you're doing something kind of ocean related or garden related. You can use those ones. And then this one here is using Lemon Lolly with the greener tones. So I've got basic grey, but then Parakeet Party, which is a nice bright green with the Lemon Lolly. So it just gives you a different set of ideas to work with that Lemon Lolly. And one more to go is my Pecan Pie. So I'm not sure how I feel about pecan pie yet. It's not a colour I like on its own, but I think it's a colour I'm going to enjoy having to add to other things. So I had a bit of fun with working with these combinations. So I've worked with the blues. So Night of Navy, Misty Moonlight, Pebbled Path, and Pecan Pie. So again, a nice masculine set, or kind of in that, the non-girly girls, the teenage girls that aren't girly, that would be a nice set as well. It's kind of that denim idea with denim and leather, denim and suede kind of thing that you can have there. And then this one here is Soft Seafoam, Moody Mauve, Pool Party, and then Pecan Pie is your neutral to go with those. I think works really nicely. And the last combination is a masculine one, is Lemon Lime Twist, Early Espresso, Pecan Pie, and Crumb Cake. So it's really nice to have these kind of neutral selection, and then add a pop of a bright colour is a nice way to add to it. So it doesn't have to be Lemon Lime Twist, it could have been other versions of bright colours that would work. And so that's my pecan pie. So that's all I have to share with you today. So I'm going to come back, and I hope you've enjoyed spending some time with me and looking at those colours. It's one of the things that I love about a colour refresh, is having a play with how new colours go together, how they compare to other things. And I've had great fun because I have made all my little swatches here that I print. They have little set on the back, a little checklist on the back, just so that you can tick off which products you have. I make these and I get 12 to an A4 sheet. So I print them on the A4 sheet and I cut them up. So I had 12 of each colour of these all cut up and spread out on the table, and I've been mixing and matching and playing with the colours and having such a good time with all of that. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing the outcome of my playing with those, and I look forward to showing you the outcome in terms of actual finished projects using these new colours. They're coming and I will show you some soon. So thank you very much, and I'll see you again next week. Bye bye.